So this beautiful young lady, her name is Ollie, and she is one of our juvenile Tuatara. And that name means peaks on the back in Te Reo Māori. So you can see she's got this beautiful little row of peaks along the back, right to the base of her tail. These will get bigger as the Tuatara age, and they're a little bit larger in the males than the females. One of the easiest ways. What are you doing, lady? So she will not actually be considered an adult. She won't have reached maturity, that is, until she's about 35. Full size. There's nothing you can do to age them. You can't cut them in half and count the rings or anything like that. Have to be there at the start of their life when they hatch, and at the end of their life when they pass away. The oldest we are aware of, though, the oldest Tuatara on record, he lives down in Invercargill, and he goes by the name of Henry. Now, Henry is not an old man by any means, but he is 135 years old. He is young, I should say. Ooh, waking me up there, Ollie. But yeah, Henry became a dad for the first time at 110. Last that we heard, he's got two girlfriends, Lucy and Mildred, who are both about 150, or not 150, about 50 years younger than he is. So he's not doing too bad, but it just goes to show that Ollie and all of our cousins here at the park should be able to outlive me, all my fellow keepers, and every single visitor we have here today. And all of their close relatives, what we call the other sphenodons, they became extinct around the same story of my next two fellas here, possibly the cheekiest two birds we've got at the park. So these lads are Australian rainbow lorikeets, as you can guess from the name, not native to New Zealand. So we couldn't resist, we had to give them suitably Aussie names. These are Shane and Bruce. And they became a bit of a problem about 30, 40 years ago as part of the pet trade. So they were incredibly popular pets. You could buy as many as you wanted, you didn't need any licenses, any training, you didn't have to do any research. If you like the look of these animals, you could buy as many as you want, take them home that very same day. And we do see why. They're beautiful to look at, they're a lot of fun, great company, easy to train. But it's never a good idea to purchase a pet knowing nothing but carnage at home. Noise complaints from the neighbours, torn up couches, torn up curtains, bird poop all over the floor, the absolute works. And it was only then they started to do a bit of research. They found out that the fellas here can live for about 25 years. They're about as intelligent as a toddler, about a 2-year-old child, and they require about 4 hours of attention every single day. So that is per bird. With Shane and Bruce, the two of them, that is 8 hours a day. That's a full-time job, looking after a toddler that is not going to mature for the next quarter of a century. So I don't know about you guys, that is not my idea of a good time. And a lot of these pet owners felt the same way. But instead of doing the responsible thing, trying to find a home for their pet when they realised they weren't a good fit, they simply did the easy thing. They opened up their windows, let the fellas here out into our forests. Now, it's never a good thing to just release a pet straight away. Not very nice on the animal. A lot of them simply don't survive. But with rainbow lorikeet, it was the opposite problem. They did really... See if she's awake. Here is our terrible, tired taxidermy kiwi. Now, we promise we do have the real thing, but kiwi are a nocturnal bird. Not only that, terrified of the light. Bringing one out during the middle of the day would be pretty mean. So we've got Terry here. She's had a very long career in conservation, and I know she's not going to kick me to shreds with these claws. It makes it a bit easier for me to show you some of their amazing features. Now, kiwi are sometimes referred to as New Zealand's honorary mammal. They're definitely still birds, but they have evolved to fill a similar niche or do a similar job here in New Zealand to a lot of small, furry, nocturnal mammals elsewhere in the world. Their evolution has got a bit more mammal-like than bird-like. So the first thing I'll point out on Terry are the feathers. They're not needed for flight or aerodynamics or anything like that. They're simply there to keep the kiwi warm. And they lack a lot of those long quills and barbs to give other feathers that rigid structure. They've lost a few other adaptations for flight. So for example, they don't have hollow bones. They've got strong marrow-filled bones that are quite similar to ours. And this tiny little bald nub between my fingers here, this is all that's left of a kiwi's wing. It's just what we call vestigial, and it lets us know that kiwi evolved from flying ancestors. But over the last 50 million years or so, this has gotten smaller and smaller through the generations, and it wouldn't surprise us if in the future, kiwi evolves to have no wings whatsoever. Now you might notice at the front of Terry's little face here, she's got what look like whiskers. So these are actually just highly specialised. So does anyone know why we introduced possums to New Zealand? They are covered in it. Not to kill the rabbits. I think I heard fur somewhere out there. Stoats were introduced to kill the rabbits. But yeah, we can't see why. Beautiful fur. But the fur trade did not go to plan. However, possum numbers absolutely exploded. Now back in Australia, to where these guys are native, they've got a lot of predators. A lot of things that would like to eat them, basically. On top of that, there's significant bushfires and floods, which help to keep them in what we call their niche in the environment. Stop saying.